Welcome back. You're tuned into Halftime Report here on CNBC-TV18. Well, let's focus on Deal Street then. And Allcargo Logistics has ventured into the express logistics space as it acquires Gati. We have Mr. Shashi Kiran Shetty, the founder and chairman of Allcargo Logistics, who joins us. Hi, Mr. Shetty. Thanks so much, sir, for speaking to us here on CNBC-TV18, and congratulations on this acquisition. Welcome. Give us a few details, sir. You know, if I look at the transaction details, it tells us if you're successful in the open offer, you'll be going up to around 45% odd. So a couple of questions here. One, do you intend to raise your stake from here to a majority stake, maybe to around 51% odd? And if not, will you be looking at still consolidating, the acquisition in your books?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to CNBC for completing 20 years in India. As regards to the intention, yes, we want to get into a majority of the Gati, and so that we can consolidate in our books. We will see how to go about that, maybe through a creeping acquisition later. But right now, we'll end up with about 45%, yes.
Mr. Shetty, so let's go with the assumption that the open offer is successful. You get 45% stake, 45 plus. Then you do a creeping acquisition, which takes you to a majority stake, and you consolidate the two businesses. What would the numbers look like for the consolidated entity in terms of revenues, margins, EPS?
Yeah, it will be approximate number, of course. We would, in the FY 2021, the company would end up somewhere around 9,500 crore in terms of our revenue, and the EBITDA number should be upwards of 650 crores. Because yeah, please go ahead.
And in this EBITDA of 650 crore, what is the synergy or integration cost that you're assuming when you do this math of FY 21?
Yeah, because the way I'm looking at it is Allcargo is currently without Gati would end up about EBITDA about 500 crore, and then you have Gati, which is FY 19 number has been around 110 crore EBITDA, and this year is expected to do somewhat similar. And if you add that, the 610 crore, and we have in this financial year have done some multiple acquisitions and gone into logistic warehousing business. We have a rental income of going to be about 50 crore. So on a conservative estimate, we would end up easily with about 650 crore.
All right, Mr. Shetty, the acquisition's a little over 400 crores odd. You have outlined a roadmap to raise around 195 crores via NCDs. How do you fund the remainder? Are you looking at divesting some of your non-core assets? Will you be taking some additional debt?
Yeah, Allcargo is under leveraged company. Against a 500 crore EBITDA, we have a business debt of about 150 crore. And we have borrowed for construction of the logistic parks somewhere around 400 crore. And we would have to spend additional 350 crore in the next 18 months. So that will complete 5 million square feet of warehouses. And that will yield a rental income of roughly about 100 crore. But we do not intend to keep these assets under the company. We are looking at investors, financial investors, strategic investors to come in as a majority shareholder in our warehousing venture. That is why all assets are sitting in the subsidiary. And we are also looking at selling some of our cranes, which would raise about 100 odd crore. There may be a little bit of a lag between the payment for the acquisition versus the money that we will receive. So temporarily, you will see a little big amount as loan, roughly around 800 odd crores. But when we complete the transaction, we are in advanced discussion, and the deal might get announced within the next couple of weeks. Then we will be back to almost debt-free company.
Sir, since your plan is to have a majority stake in Gati, what is plan B if your open offer is not successful?
The plan B would be we will stay at 35%, and we will consider merging one of our businesses into Gati to go up to the majority stake, which is strategic to Gati's business.
And which one would that be?
The whole strategy of getting into Gati started from in 2016 when we entered into the contract logistics business, which is a high growth business post GST, and we have done reasonably well in that business. And we also realized that the consumption story of India and with being present in the contract logistics business, we felt there is a big opportunity for us to get into the India's logistic consumption led story. And that is where we identified Express is one of the most attractive business. And we kept on looking at various companies, what we can acquire, because building a company like this would take generations. So we wanted to look at companies which are a good player in the market, and that's how we identified Gati, and Gati was in the market to sell. And there were some issues in the company. That's why it was something very unique deal that came to us, and that is how this whole acquisition happened. It took us about 8 months to consummate the whole deal.
In waiting by to for closure of this deal, and finally you've gone ahead and announced it, Mr. Shetty. Now, a two-part question: will you keep both these entities listed? That's Allcargo Logistics as well as Gati. And the second part is, some part of the street was saying that Allcargo Logistics is going to go ahead and buy Sika Logistics. Any truth there?
For the moment, I think we'll keep both the companies listed. Future will decide what is best for both the companies. It makes some sense to have one listed entity, but we will evaluate as we come to that. As regards to Sika, yes, there are some discussions taking place. I cannot make any comment at this point in time, but our interest is not so much in the rail business. Our interest is more on the container freight station business, what they have.
Okay. Mr. Shetty, just one final question. You said that you will partly fund the acquisition via your non-core assets. If you could tell us the value of your non-core assets currently and what percentage of that would you look to sell?
Yeah, the non-core assets combined, the total value of the asset post-construction of 5 million square feet would be about 1,350 crore. And there will be a debt on the construction of roughly about 750 crore. And on the cranes, what we have put up to sale, that will be roughly about 100 crore. So it's about 1450 crore. Out of that, about 700 odd crores, 750 crores will be the debt, and the rest is the company's equity.
About 600 crores.
So almost 750 crore. 750 crore is the equity, 750 crore is the debt.
Okay, Mr. Shetty, you're losing some money.
That's what we will realize.
On the project business, not making too much money out there. Any consideration to close that down, sell it off, get rid of it basically?
No, actually there's a misconception. At the EBIT level, the company is making profit.
Okay.
The depreciation is the one what is actually showing loss. And also the utilization of the asset in the last 2 years, because there is no infrastructure spend in the country, so that is why these equipments are not really being used. That is why we are selling half of our asset. After selling half the asset, what assets will be left with? They are very good equipments, brand new equipments, and they are in big demand. So the whole performance of the division will turn around quite substantially.
Mr. Shetty, thank you very much.
Through a lot of cost reduction, and these are good assets to own, and they will be deployed almost over 80%.
Okay.
Mr. Shetty, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining us today, and congratulations on this deal. We'll slip into a break on that note, but up next, an exclusive conversation that Shireen Bhan had with Aditya Birla Group